It's Mumbai versus Delhi, a must-win game for Delhi and an equally important game for RCB as well. The whole of Karnataka is supporting Mumbai Indians, and we are here to support you and your fantasy team with all our data, numbers, and years of experience of our fantasy scouts. Our first scout has been very kind enough to join us for every game, except the last 2 or 3, and has been absolutely spot on with his match and fantasy predictions. Please welcome Mr. Wasim Jaffer.
Thank you, Peeyush. Nice to be here.
Always a pleasure, sir. Our next scout, our special guest, he was part of, in fact, he was a very important part of Mumbai Indians, or I should say the winning Mumbai Indians, the champion side that we all know. Please welcome the player who has helped me in many games in fantasy cricket. Please welcome Mr. Mitch Mcleneghan.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much for having me. Pleasure.
Welcome to VUSport Scouts. Mitch, how are you? How's life going on? Where are you right now?
I've just put the baby to sleep. She's 8.5 months here. So, yeah, she's still up every couple of hours. So, yeah, just helping the wife. But she's bloody cute now. Very exciting.
So, before I ask you your fantasy picks, first of all, before the start of the season, were you expecting MI to be at the bottom of the table?
I wasn't expecting them to be as far down as they were. No, that's absolutely the truth. I think they finally got around to picking the right setup for their side. I think playing the two all-rounders, obviously Pollard before Stubbs played the last game, that was the best combination with the 2 overseas bowlers. I just felt Bumrah, you can't just have him as the main prong. In the bowling attack, you need 2 guys to attack around them, and then guys have to score runs off Bumrah and makes them so much better. So I finally got the makeup right and started to come right towards the back end, which is good signs for next year for any Mumbai fans out there.
But what exactly went wrong for MI this season? What do you think?
Look, I think it was exactly the fact. I mean, Previous was a really nice player for the future. I think he's going to be some good bargaining power for trades over the off season with other sides. I just would never really done too well with a guy at the top of the order if he's not the keeper, as an overseas player. I just feel like it was a wasted spot, and we were kind of playing around with playing over one overseas as a bowler and trying to fit that other batter in. So I just think it was just make up of the side and then trying to figure out who your local spinner was. That's basically what it came down to. Your wicket-taking spinner. We've been very fortunate to have the likes of Chahal over the last couple of years. Mayank, before he's come back to Mumbai, was outstanding as well. We've been very fortunate to have Sharma, and then obviously Harbhajan Singh. So you need that good local spinner to go around your overseas bowlers, and obviously Bumrah.
And of course, they missed Mitchell Mcleneghan as well. Wasim sir, who will be your...
yeah, cheers.
Wasim sir, who will be your safe fantasy captaincy choice in this game? It's MI versus DC at Wankhede.
I think Peeyush, it's pretty straightforward. I'll go with David Warner. I think he's a very, very important player in that DC lineup. And if he scores runs, you're pretty sure that DC is going to post, a good score. And he's in a very good form and is determined to do well. And this is such an important game for DC. So you expect a player like David Warner to turn up. So I'll put David Warner as my captaincy choice.
Of course, he went for a first ball duck in the last game, but of course, we're not expecting that in every game. Since IPL 2016, he's averaging over 60 with the bat against Mumbai Indians. Bumrah can be a possible threat against him, was dismissed him twice, but of course, a very reliable player in IPL. If you want to go with the safe fantasy captain, then David Warner is a great choice. Mitch, who will be that safe fantasy captain's choice for you?
Yeah, I was along the same lines as Wasim. I thought David Warner was a great option. I guess my other option would be Jasprit Bumrah. I think it's a big game. I think games where a team has a lot on the line, as Delhi Capitals do, they have to win this game. They always go into the game a little bit tentative with the batting side. I think as soon as the crunch comes on, I think the batters seem to struggle a little bit more in those must-win games. Jasprit Bumrah, when the pressure's on and he can build some pressure, I think he's going to really capitalise in the moments in this game. So he would be a safe captaincy option for mine. I think the batters are going to panic and Jasprit Bumrah is going to come to the fore.
No surprises, a fast bowler is going with a fast bowler. Wasim sir, who will be your vice captain in this game?
There are quite a few options, but I'm going with Kuldeep. I think, he holds a lot of importance again in that middle overs. That mystery of Chinamen and the Googlies, with a lot of foreign batters in that middle order in the Mumbai Indians. So he might be a little handy. So I'll back Kuldeep to have a good game. He's been pretty brilliant all throughout the tournament. So in such a big game, you expect Kuldeep to have a say. So I'm going with Kuldeep as my second choice.
He also picked 3 wickets in the reverse fixture, although that was a day game and this will be a night game at Wankhede. Even though there's not a hail for spinners at Wankhede, but still he has picked 11 wickets at this venue. Will not be a very safe choice, but Wasim sir is still going with him and backing him to perform great in this game. Mitch, who will be that vice captaincy choice for you in this game? Safe choice.
Safe choice. My safe choice is David Warner. So wasn't by and myself are on the same lines there. Thinking of a guy's in great form throughout this whole tournament. When the ball has got some pace and under lights in Mumbai, that it does come on really nicely. If you like some Meredith and Sams, David Warner scores really well against Australian bowlers. His record against Mumbai, particularly at Mumbai, is sensational as well. As you just said, he's been striking at over 160 or averaging 60, strike rate close to 140 against Mumbai historically. So I think he's going to be one to watch. And you mentioned Bumrah, the matchup between Warner and Bumrah. Yes, it's in Bumrah's favour. That's why I've got him as skipper. But I feel like David Warner is class enough to play him off and pick off Meredith and Daniel Sams.
Mitch has done his homework really well. So VUSport would recommend you can go with David Warner, of course, a very safe captaincy choice in small leagues. If you're playing small leagues, Mitchell Marsh is, of course, a default choice. The way he's batting, the way he's bowling, he's picking wickets as well. So Mitchell Marsh, David Warner, very safe picks. And Ishan Kishan is also a very good choice in this game. In the reverse fixture, he scored an unbeaten 81. He likes playing against this side. Likes his bowling attack as well. There's only one bowler who has dismissed this even once in T20s, and that is Kuldeep Yadav. He strikes at 190 against Kuldeep, at 240 against Andrik Nokia, at 150 against Akshar Patel as well. So because he offers you value with his big teaming as well, Ishan Kishan is also a great choice. So VUSport would recommend you to go with Mitchell Marsh, David Warner, and Ishan Kishan. Wasim sir, who will be that high risk, high reward pick for you in this game? That differential captaincy choice.
There are quite, couple of players in my mind. Mitch Marsh is one of them, and Rishabh Pant. So I'll back Rishabh Pant because, such an explosive player, and the way he's playing in the last few games, he's coming out and, looking to attack. And that's a very dangerous sign. When Rishabh Pant comes out and, wants to bat like that, he can turn the game around. So I'm going with Rishabh Pant. I feel, again, such a big game. He bats at number 4 and at max at number 5. To have a big say in the game. So picking him is a risk, but he's a high reward player as well. And again, he gives you points behind the stumps as well. So I'll go with Rishabh Pant.
Proper high risk, high reward, the way he's playing. He scored 350s against Mumbai Indians, and all 3 have come batting first. He's averaging over 70 batting first, but while chasing his average just 12 against them. Mitch captain Jasprit Bumrah has dismissed him 6 times in just 12 innings. He's averaging 7.8 against him. So he will be a possible threat against him once again. Mitch, who will be that high risk, high reward pick for you?
I'm going to go the opposite side. I'm going to go with what Wasim suggested in terms of Mitchell Marsh as his other option, high risk, high reward. I think Jasprit Bumrah, like you mentioned, we spoke about earlier, I think he's going to go full and straight to Mitchell Marsh early. I think he's a great matchup against David Warner, which brings Mitch Marsh to the crease. Warner's going to nick off early. Marsh to the crease, watch for full and straight. The pads are susceptible early in Marsh's innings. So fingers crossed for Mumbai fans, that is what happens, and that's why I think he's high risk, high reward. But as we saw in the T20 World Cup, and obviously the last game, once Mitchell Marsh gets in, he is dominant, and no boundary in the world of cricket is big enough to stop the man. Even half hits go for 6, and Wankhede is a high-scoring ground.
Do you think your captain can get him in this game?
Oh, look, I think if you've got some points to make up, yeah, why not? Yeah, and he could even come on and bowl. You just never know. You never know what's going to go on in the world of Mitchell Marsh. So I think if he seems like, and we saw in the World Cup in big games, he seems like he's the man who wants to stand up and win games. And Ricky and Watto and the likes will be putting pressure on him to go out and win the game like he did the World Cup for Australia.
That's why he's one of our safe picks as well, because he can contribute in both the departments. Even if he plays with the bat, he can contribute with the ball as well. Wasim sir, who will be that player to avoid for you in this game?
I'm going with Riley Meredith, Peeyush. I think he's been a little expensive, even though he's not bowling bad, but in every literally game, he's not picking more than one wicket and he's going at 40, close to 40, even 40 plus. And you've got pretty more options. You've got Bumrah, you've got other bowlers from DC, you've got Khalil if he's fit. Shardul can offer you a lot with bat and ball. So I feel it's safe to get Riley Meredith. If you can avoid Riley Meredith, you've got pretty more options in the other teams as well.
Riley Meredith hasn't looked at his best so far, but if he's bowling first, you can still consider him your side because he's bowling at a death. He's bowling 2 overs at a death, and bowling first, I would still want to pick him my side. Bowling second, you can avoid him, just like Wasim sir is avoiding in this game. Mitch would avoid in this game.
Yeah, I'm probably going a little bit left field. I know you like to pick a bowler or a batter who can bowl, all-rounder. I think Axar Patel will struggle at Mumbai against a Mumbai side who's got nothing to lose and all step-hit players. And Axar Patel doesn't bowl, get the ball to grip enough and probably won't under lights at Mumbai. So that's just my personal opinion. I know he struggled last game, 2 overs, going at 12s. I just feel this matchup, if Ishan Kishan, like you say, being a guy who's in form, if he gets a matchup against Patel, I think it's all over.
Last time he faced MI, he went for 40 in his 4 overs, but came and scored 38 of just 17 deliveries. So are you expecting some runs from Akshar if he fails with the bat, with the ball?
I'm not. I think it's going to be one of those games where Mitchell Marsh and David Warner either come off and he doesn't have to bat, or Bumrah knocks off the top and Mumbai just goes full out attack and they're going to be under so much pressure that he's not even going to get a chance. So that's my opinion. I think it's going to be either a big win or a big loss either way.
So that's a proper high risk, high reward and player to avoid as well. Our differential pick in this game, our high risk, high reward, will be Rohit Sharma. He hasn't scored a 50 since ages in IPL. 21 innings to be precise. This is by far his worst IPL season, having just 20 with the bat. But he likes playing at Wankhede, 15-50s at this venue. And the matchups are quite favorable as well. Akshar Patel has dismissed him twice. Khalil Ahmed with the new ball can be a threat against him. But he has looked great with the bat in the last couple of games and is definitely worth trying in Grand Leagues. Number 2 is Daniel Sams. Risk is if he doesn't get wickets with the new ball, he might not give you a lot of fantasy points because he's not bowling at the death. But the reward is he batted number 3 in the last couple of games. Of course, nobody knows that experiment will continue or not. But if he scores few runs and picks a wicket or 2, can be a very good choice in Grand League. So you can back Rohit Sharma and Daniel Sams in this game. Mish, are you expecting some runs for Rohit Sharma?
I am actually. I think it's been a massive disadvantage for Mumbai to be away from Wankhede. I think their side and the side that they picked is based around the conditions there, that the ball's getting on and some extra bounce, which Rohit likes. So we always see him play good shots when the wicket's nice and pacey and you get some good bounce and carry. So I actually think he will score runs tonight, and I think he's got a point to prove. Obviously, it's been a tough campaign and he'll want to lead from the front tonight.
So Mitch is also expecting some runs from Rohit Sharma. Faf also said in the post-match conference that he's banking on Rohit Sharma to score some runs because obviously RCB wants runs from him. Wasim sir, who are you going with? It's MI or Delhi Capitals? Who do you think is going to win?
I mean, it's an obvious one. If MI wins, it doesn't, they doesn't go anywhere. But, Delhi have got everything to play for. If they win, they obviously get into the playoffs, and they have been on a good run. They've beaten some good teams. They've got performances from different players. Even though Prithvi Shaw is injured, So they look like a team, who are on a good run, and they've got everything to play for. So I would like to go for DC. Mumbai have got nothing to do, so they can be a party spoiler. But I would like the DC to go through. I think they're playing good brand of cricket.
Mitch, MI or DC?
Well, I don't want RCB in the playoffs. I'm sorry. I mean, look, I want Mumbai to win because I want them to finish on a high note. But I think that would be most painful if RCB were in the finals and had a chance of winning. Lesser of two evils. I could handle Delhi going through and given a chance to win the competition, particularly with their form the last couple of years.
Mitch has been absolutely honest with us. He doesn't want RCB to qualify.
No, not at all.
So thank you so much for finding it. It was a pleasure talking to both of you. And thank you, Wasim sir, Mitch. I hope it will be a great game for all our fantasy lovers, just like we had in the last 3-4 games as well. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mitch. Thanks, Peeyush.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.